Hello and welcome to This Week at the Movies. I'm Matt and I have a big time extravaganza for you. We have a couple of loaded weekends for the holidays. There are a couple of big releases I haven't yet gotten to. Avatar Fire and Ash, we will not be talking about today, nor The Housemaid, but I have seen quite a number of other films that are opening both this week and on Christmas Day. I'm going to be going over them all so that you can get ready for a holiday primer after today. I will be back again on December 28th when Eric and I are doing our top 5 of the year. So that is an episode you won't want to miss. If you want to see some of my favorites in different categories like animated films, documentary films, or international features, I have best of lists on a special channel or a special list on the channel. You can check those out. They're also going to be publishing to the site throughout the next couple of weeks. Just a kind of fun time to get to the end of the year and wrap things up. But I have 9 films I'm going to be going over today. Some of them are limited release, some of them are streaming, some of them are starting limited and going wide. So it'll be pretty exciting. I'm going to dive right in. The first movie is The Voice of Hind Rajab. This is the official entry from Tunisia. It follows Red Crescent volunteers who receive an emergency call from a 6-year-old girl who is trapped under fire in Gaza. She's pleading for rescue. They try to keep her on the line while they spend hours trying to coordinate a safe rescue. The film relies on actual emergency calls from the little girl to fill things in. You are mostly in a room following the emergency responders, and this one gets a huge thumbs up from me. It opened in limited release on Wednesday. It's going to be going wider into January. It's on the short list for Oscar. I really hope it makes it in. It is one of my favorite international features of the year. It is actually currently sitting in my top 20 films, period, for 2025. I was deeply moved. It's only 89 minutes. It is very harrowing. Just a great production, a really emotional story, one to dive into. So that is The Voice of Hind Rajab. If it is playing in limited release near you, maybe not the greatest family holidays film, but that is certainly worth checking out. Maybe one that's a little better for the family and the holidays, opening wide on Friday from Angel Studio. We have the animated film David. This captures the life of the biblical figure David, from his clash with Goliath and his early origins as a shepherd boy to becoming anointed king, and his back and forth with the King Saul. This one coming from director Phil Cunningham and Brent Dawes. Just kind of a fun movie musical, one of my favorite animated films of the year. I think they do a great job. Brandon Engman plays the voice of young David. Phil Wickham takes over as the voice of David as an adult. I had a lot of fun with this one. I am giving it a thumbs up. This is some good family-friendly entertainment as well. Another movie that's opening in limited this week will go wider sometime in January, but if you have a chance to check this one out, one of the funniest and most touching comedies of the year from director Bradley Cooper. It's called Is This Thing On? It focuses on a man played by Will Arnett who is going through a separation from his wife, played by Laura Dern. He finds some solace, finds himself, finds a way to move on by taking the stage to do a little stand-up comedy. There are some really funny moments, but there are also some really beautiful, tender, and poignant moments. I know my friend Ricky, who does a lot of movie talk on this channel, really dearly love this film. He has a little higher than me, but I am bullish on it. I give that one a thumbs up. Will Arnett gives a great performance. I don't know if he'll be able to make it into the Oscar campaign because it's such a crowded field, but he does some of his career best work, I think, and it is a movie well worth checking out. In limited release on Friday, it goes wide about the middle of January. Another movie that opens in limited on Friday but goes wide on Christmas Day is one of the most anticipated films of the back half of the year, and that is Marty Supreme. This is a movie that is likely to be a major player at the Academy Awards, both in the Best Picture race and for star Timothée Chalamet, who gives one of the best performances of the year as Marty Mauser. He's a young man with a dream. No one totally understands or respects. He's definitely a hustler. He is a great ping pong player who is trying to make it big on the pro circuit. It's loosely inspired by an actual ping pong player, but this is a fictional tale that comes from director Josh Safdie, who co-wrote the screenplay with Ronald Bronstein. Pretty good supporting work from Odessa A'zion and Gwyneth Paltrow. Look, all the pieces are there. And I want to start with the good. Timothy Chalamet is incredible. He should definitely be in the short list for Best Actor. He may have a great chance to win. He continues to put out banger after banger of performances. He pours his all into this. I love the production too. I thought it really transported you back in time. Some of the action in some of the big ping pong matches was very captivating. There is a lot to like about the way it is set up, but ultimately, this is going to hit or miss for you based on how you feel about the story and how you feel about Marty Mauser himself. I don't want to be too crass, but he is an asshole. He is an asshole from the moment you meet him all the way through, even though they try to tack on some kind of redemption a little bit at the end. It didn't sit well with me. I couldn't really root for him, even though I loved what Chalamet was doing. So this one, just a thumbs neutral for me. I am probably a lot lower on it than a lot of critics you are going to see. And it is certainly a big epic spectacle. I know why it's in there. I felt similar about last year's Best Picture winner, Anora. Was a movie where I respected the craft, I respected the swing, I respected kind of the broad strokes of the lead performer, but that was decidedly not my bag. And Marty Supreme is decidedly not my bag, and it may not be your bag either. It is hard for me to imagine what the scenario is where I would be taking my family along with me to see it on Christmas Day, but maybe you have a different family dynamic than I do. So that one, limited release on Friday, getting out in some of the markets, but it will go wide on Christmas Day. Another Christmas movie that is actually a Christmas movie is the final big Netflix release of the year. This one coming out on Christmas Eve. It is Goodbye June. This is a family drama that was written by Joe Anders, who is the son of Kate Winslet. Winslet not only takes a starring role in here as one, I couldn't tell if she was the oldest or one of the oldest kids, Julia, but she also is the director here. This is a top-notch cast, includes Helen Mirren, Timothy Spall, Johnny Flynn, Andrew Riseborough, Stephen Merchant. There is just a lot of talent in here. Toni Collette, almost forgot that, can't forget that. It is starts with a woman, June, played by Helen Mirren, who collapses. It's in the run-up to Christmas. She's whisked to the hospital. It turns out that her cancer is spreading, the treatment is no longer effective, and she has less than 2 weeks to live, not expected to make it to Christmas. Her husband, played by Timothy Spall, and her kids, Johnny Flynn, Andrea Riseborough, Toni Collette, and Kate Winslet, have to come and rally around her, set aside their family differences. It is an interesting story. And it is an amazing cast. And there are moments written in here that are really meant to get to the heart of it. I didn't think it was as Christmassy as I would want from a Christmas movie, and I didn't think it was as emotionally hard-hitting as I'd want for a story like this. So it somewhere falls kind of in between. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I'm giving it a thumbs neutral, but it is a film out there that you can stream, so that makes it a lot easier, something that'll be a little bit of a distraction. Of course, the biggest prize from Netflix is coming on Christmas Day, and that is Volume 2 of Stranger Things. But this one, something to check out, especially if you are a fan of Kate Winslet. Well, we are up to Christmas Day, and there are a ton of wide unlimited releases, including one of the best films of the year. I may not have been in on Marty Supreme, but let me tell you who I am in on, and that is Anne Lee. Amanda Seyfried deserves all the accolades that she can get for this. This is the biopic of Anne Lee, who was the founder of the Shaker movement. She was a prophet and a big mover in this religious movement that had a lot of beliefs and worshipped heavily through music and dance. It's directed by Mona Fastwold, who co-wrote the screenplay with Brady Corbet. They were the force behind The Brutalist last year. Corbet directed that one. They wrote it together. This one, a musical, and honestly, the fact that the big original song from this did not get shortlisted by the Oscars is crushing to me. I thought Seyfried kills it. She should definitely be in the Best Actress competition. There is just not a great marketing campaign for this. It opens in very limited release on Christmas Day. If it opens anywhere near you, I would go check it out. I have it up in my top 10. I thought it was phenomenal. The craft is phenomenal. The performances, the introspection, it is all beautifully done. Cypher, amazing. The musical numbers blew me away. It is supposed to open wider mid-January, so hopefully you'll get to see it by then. But if it's anywhere near you on Christmas Day, it is exceptional. I don't know if it's the greatest family film. There are some definitely difficult content things, but it was simply amazing. Maybe a little more family friendly, wide release on Christmas Day is the film Song Sung Blue. This is a remake of the documentary of the same name that follows the performers Lightning and Thunder, married couple Mike and Claire, played by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, who worked in the Midwest. They were kind of a Neil Diamond tribute act. They came together, they helped heal each other, they found love and support in one another, and they ended up making some beautiful music on stage. Kind of an inspiring and interesting story. It comes from director Craig Brewer, who wrote the script based on Greg Kahn's documentary script. Jackman and Kate Hudson seem to be having fun here, but the musical numbers weren't as compelling as maybe I would hope. I also think it has a somewhat curious and deceptive marketing campaign. There is a way that they sell this movie that is the movie, but only maybe a first chunk of the movie. And there are some darker turns. If you've seen the documentary, you're not going to be surprised by any of it. But I didn't even know there was documentary when I originally went to go watch this movie. I wasn't even sure it was a true story. I had to look all that up. So there were some big left turns. It also feels like it's a little bit too long, but when you're ultimately having a musical biopic, it really soars based on the personality and the musical performances. And where Springsteen Delivered Me From Nowhere, I thought the musical performances were incredible and maybe even made up for some of the slower pace of the personal things here. I thought the musical performances were just okay. And so it doesn't offset enough for me the kind of dynamics of the story. It's not a bad film. I'm giving it a thumbs neutral, but it just didn't move me the same way you would kind of want from one of those. Also opening on Christmas Day, another of the big international features. No Other Choice is the entry from Park Wook-chan. It is the Korean entry, another neon film. They are poised to have a good year. This one is based on the Don Westlake novel, The Axe. After being unemployed, after working at a paper company, a man who is feeling desperate, played by Lee Byung-hun, begins to target and take out rivals for a position so that he can be employed and save his family. Kind of a black comedy here. A lot of fun, very interesting, moves at a good pace. It is opening in limited release on Christmas Day. We'll probably go wide more in January. And I'm sorry that's the case with a lot of these movies, but if they are limited somewhere near you or you have an art house theater, it is worth going and checking out some of these things because these are some of the better movies of the year. I love No Other Choice a lot. I think it is definitely going to be in the international features competition for the Academy Awards, and rightly so. It is already in that field for the Golden Globes. So it is definitely an interesting film, well worth checking out, especially if you've been a fan of Park Chan-wook's previous films. I know we've gone through a lot. Not quite done. One more limited release that's coming out on Christmas Day that I want to touch on, a movie I saw called The Corral. And this one stars Ray Fiennes as a man who is tapped to be the choral society director in a small English town during World War I. He has to try to recruit some singers. They are trying to put on a show that will give some joy and some peace of mind to a community that is racked in the middle of World War I before another set of residents is called to the front lines. It has a decent cast, includes Mark Addy, among others. I really like Fiennes in the lead role. I like the idea here. You know, we never get tired of these inspirational films of people finding themselves through music and performance and kind of getting over some difficult periods in life. And the final performance here ends up being quite beautiful. I think it's an interesting film. I don't think it's a spectacular film, but A nice little film if you like period pieces, if you like musical oriented films, or if you're a Ray Fiennes fan, it's worth checking out. I'm going to give it a thumbs neutral. I liked it just fine. I'm not sure it's going to be a big player in awards contention, and I'm not sure what exactly the bigger rollout is going to be. But if it's playing near you in limited release, and this is kind of your bag, it's set during World War One, kind of captures that time period really well. Another option to check out during a busy Christmas holiday. Well, I know that was a lot. I'm going to do a quick recap. Voice of Hind Rajab, a big thumbs up from me. The international feature from Tunisia, now playing in limited release. David, a new animated film that opens wide on Friday, a thumbs up. I really enjoyed the music and the production there. This Thing On, the new film from Bradley Cooper, a comedy opening in limited release this week. I also gave that a thumbs up, had a lot of fun with that. Marty Supreme, opening in limited on Friday, goes wide on Christmas Day. I gave that one a thumbs neutral. Timothée Chalamet is incredible. The story, not my favorite. Goodbye June, a new film that's streaming on Christmas Eve on Netflix from director Kate Winslet. I gave that one a thumbs neutral. It has some interesting moments. It is a Christmassy film. It is available on streaming. I didn't love it. The Testament of Ann Lee, going limited on Christmas Day, wide in January. Big thumbs up. I loved Amanda Seyfried here. I think she gives one of the best performances of the year. I think it is one of the best films of the year, and engaging and gripping musical. Song Sung Blue, gave that one a thumbs neutral. An interesting musical biopic, probably a little more family friendly, going wide on Christmas Day. No Other Choice, the new film from Park Chan-wook, giving that one a thumbs up. That is the official entry from Korea. It is going limited release on Christmas Day, will go wider in January. And finally, The Corral, gave that one a thumbs neutral, a World War I tale about how music helped to soothe the souls of a town during a difficult World War I conflict. So a lot of movies to go over. I know we are getting close to the end of the year. I'm looking forward to being back with you on Sunday, December 28th. Eric and I will be giving you our favorite films of the year. So until then, I will see you at the movies, and have a Merry Christmas.